Hi, I'm Kate and welcome to part 3 of my new video blog series called Bible Studies. Thanks for watching. Today I want to look at some very important research which can be found in the book called Destiny of Souls. I remember when I was at the library and I first saw this book, it kept jumping out to me and I picked it up, had a look at it, Destiny of Souls. I saw the pink and the purple and I thought to myself, it's just fluff, it's rubbish, can't be anything serious. But it kept jumping out to me, picked it up, took it home, and it changed my life. Never judge a book by its cover. I've learned that time and time again. Anyway, what this book and this research is essentially about, it's carried out by Dr. Michael Newton, who is a hypnotherapist. He's essentially been carrying out this research for 30 years and it's been conducted with over 7,000 case studies. What he does is he regresses his patients back to a very deep state found in the alpha state, under which they divulge information, they recall information or scenes of a place that they go after they die before they're born. So essentially this research is mapping the spirit world and relating the experiences that people have in between incarnations. So the place that the soul goes when it's not on earth. Anyhow, it's fascinating. So I just want to relate a story from here, which is one of the story that touched me the most personally. It's the one I usually tell people as well when I talk about this research. I'll just summarize it and then I'll read you some quotes. So basically, Emmanuel was with Dr. Michael Newton. His soul name is Emmanuel, and he's just crossed over from his last life. He's just died essentially, and he's gotten back to the spiritual realm, and he's before the Council of Elders, or the Wise Ones, which is a council of 6 people. We all go there. You've been there many times before, I've been there many times before, and I'm going to go there many times more. And what this place is a place of reflection with more mature, advanced beings to reflect on our past lives. And he goes into the council and they ask him how he feels, how he did on his last life. And his soul contract in that life, we all have soul contracts also, was to found a company and to hire people during the Great Depression. And he did that. And he started relating how he had his company, how he gave lots of charity, he hired people, and then the conversation started to drift to how he had problems with his anger, how he liked to accumulate material possessions, how he mistreated his employees. And they just kind of reflect and talk about all those kind of things, or they communicate telepathically. And then I just want to quote you. So one of the members of the council interjects into his mind and sends him a message. And he says this: Emmanuel, we are not here to judge you, punish you, or to override your thoughts. We want you to look at yourself through our eyes, if you can. That means to forgive yourself. This is the most challenging aspect of your time with us, because it is our desire that you accept yourself for who you are with the same unconditional love that we have for you. We are here to support you in your work on Earth. Toward that end, we will remind you of the bus stop incident. And Emmanuel, he actually didn't remember. He had no idea what I was talking about him. And then the wise one in the center says to him, you do not remember this incident? The woman who you helped one day while you were sitting at the bus stop? And then they waited for his memories to kick in and they sent him an image, and then he began to see. And this is what he said, Emmanuel that is. I'm beginning to see. There was a woman once. I was walking towards my office with my briefcase. I was in a hurry. Then I heard this woman crying softly to my left. She was sitting at the bus stop next to the sidewalk. It was during the Depression. People were desperate. I stopped. Then on an impulse, I sat down next to her, put my arm around her, trying to comfort her. This was a very unnatural thing for me to do. My God, is this what they're interested in? I was with this woman for only a few minutes before the bus came. I never saw her again. It's so crazy. An entire lifetime of giving money to charity, and they're interested in this? I gave this woman no money. We only talked. And I love this story. I think it's very telling about what is expected of us, or what is perceived to be of value. The small acts of kindness, the small things we can do for each other. I had the opportunity to meet with the president of the Michael Newton Institute, Peter Smith, in his office in Melbourne, Australia. And I interviewed him and he gave me a past life regression. And this is what happened. Hello and good morning. I'm here with Peter Smith in his clinic in Melbourne, Australia. and I'm about to undergo a past life regression. Just in the way of introduction, Peter is a practicing past life regression and life between lives hypnotherapist. He's also the president of the Michael Newton Institute, and he's also the founder of the Institute of Energetic Transformation. Peter, thank you for having me here today. It's very exciting to be here.
You're welcome, Kate.
All right, let's get straight into it. What is past life regression and what is life between lives regression?
Past life regression assumes reincarnation. Reincarnation is something that many of the world's religions and a lot of different countries believe in. So this is about when our consciousness has been in another body earlier in the lineage of our soul.
Great.
Life between lives hypnotherapy is something that we access between those incarnations when we go into a place of now time, where we have access horizontally across all of those lifetimes, and in fact the lifetime that we've set up that we're currently in.
Great. All right, tell us a little bit about Michael Newton's research and the Michael Newton Institute.
Yeah, Michael Newton did his work over 35 years, 7,000 case studies, as he took people into this in-between space, which he christened the spiritual realm. Through those 7,000 case studies, he saw some incredible trends that took place regardless of people's cultural backgrounds, religious beliefs. He had very, very similar experiences, so he actually mapped the spiritual realm, the in-between place.
Wow.
From there he published his work, and now that his work, he's happily retired and in his 80s, but his work is carried on by 200 therapists around the world.
Okay, great. For people interested in doing a past life regression or a life between lives, what do they need to know?
Well, first of all, you need to be drawn to the right practitioner. People learn past life regression in a weekend workshop, so to work with somebody who's a qualified therapist is first and foremost, and then have had some good training. At the Newton Institute, we only accept people who've been hypnotherapists for some period of time, and then we give them advanced and extended training into the life between lives work. So it's really important to ask around and find out where somebody has those credentials that they can offer.
Great. Finally, when I speak to people about Michael Newton's research, I get a mix of responses, but one common one I get before they even look at the research is, we can't know. We can't know what happens after we die, and it's immediately dismissed before they even look at it. So that you've got those kind of people, and then you've got the skeptics, who also most of the time don't even look at the research either. What do you say to these people who immediately dismiss this research or just won't even go there, or the skeptics?
Yeah, well, there's two groups that you've described there. So the first group, are we allowed to know these things? I believe that we're in a time in Earth's consciousness where we need to understand more of who we are. In order for us to transcend some of the issues that we're facing on a global scale, we need to know more of the deeper consciousness of who we are and how as a collective of humankind we can work together to solve some of these problems. So the veil has never been thinner.
Yeah.
The veil is coming down and people are allowed to do this work. Often our clients will tell us when they're in the deep superconscious state that this is a time of transition on planet Earth and we need to understand who we are.
Really? So that comes through?
Yeah, it comes through all the time in our sessions.
Great.
Secondly, to those who continue to debunk the whole reincarnation and we live many times argument, ultimately there's so much evidence mounting for reincarnation. Dr. Ian Stevenson's work on past lives of children that he found in India and all through Asia, thousands of documented case studies, none of them done under hypnosis. The children drove across the city and walked into a previous house and named all the family members. His work's phenomenal. Helen Wambach, Dr. Helen Wambach, she set out to disprove reincarnation.
All right.
After 800 subjects, she came to the conclusion that she no longer believed in reincarnation, she just knew it.
Yeah.
Michael Newton's work, 7,000 case studies.
Yeah.
Again, seeing those trends. This information really, really mounts. And Brian Weiss, author of Many Lives, Many Masters, an eminent psychiatrist, his comment is that the medical profession still continue to keep their eyes tightly shut against this mounting amount of data and research that really says reincarnation is a fact rather than fiction.
I'm just going to give you a summary of what happened during my past life regression, because it was a kind of long, drawn out, slow process. But what essentially happened was Peter regressed me back to my childhood, to a happy memory when I was 11. But because I had some trauma and pain that I hadn't dealt with that happened in my teens, I couldn't quite get past all that. So we had to do some healing work, some visualization, some release work to kind of overcome at least enough for us to move forward, and we did that. I actually followed up in the past in a few days afterwards and did my own healing work as well. He gave me some techniques. It was really great. Anyway, so went back to my childhood, then went back to my mother's womb. He asked me some questions, or asked my soul some questions, and then he told me to go back to a past life that was relevant to this life. Anyway, I kind of drifted back in time. It's kind of difficult to describe it in human language because it is so otherworldly and not really physical. So anyhow, so I kind of drifted back in time, and I started to feel. It's like you start to feel stuff. Like you start to feel that you're outside, and then you see it. You start to feel you're on a horse, and then you see it. So that's what happened with me. And what I was a British officer in Egypt in the 1800s. And I remember seeing a scene when I was on a horse and I was walking through the streets. We were occupying at that time, occupying Egypt. And I was walking through the streets, and I remember looking down below me, and there were all these, poor people, the peasants. And I remember thinking or feeling that I was superior, I was better than them. Anyway, I'd killed people also, and in the end I was killed. I was shot in the side, and I died of an infection later in hospital. Anyway, at the end of the regression, Peter actually asks me or ask my soul why it was important for me to see that. What I essentially said was that I needed to experience that life or have that life to understand A, superiority, and B, to understand the colonial mindset so that I could go on to overthrow it in this life. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Please comment, please like, please subscribe to my blog or my YouTube channel, and most importantly, get your hands on a copy of this book. It's so important. It'll change your life. Have an open mind, and just feel the truth of it. I think that's the best way to know if something's true or not, just to really feel it with your heart, not necessarily judge it with your mind. So thank you, goodbye.